The police cruiser screeched to a stop in front of my cabin, red and blue lights flashing through the pine trees like some twisted Christmas. Karen Westfall, our HOA president, was already outside, arms folded, smirk plastered across her face. And her son, he was pointing at my power bike like it was stolen property. Meanwhile, I was on the phone with the state attorney's office, handing over evidence of fraud, when suddenly I realized this wasn't just an HOA feud anymore. This was about to explode. Act 1. The conflict begins. 3 days before that scene, life was almost peaceful. My cabin sat on 3 acres at the edge of Brookside County, far enough from the city to breathe, close enough to civilization that I thought I'd finally found peace. I wasn't even part of the HOA, technically, but my driveway connected to their road, which apparently made me fair game. And Karen, she had been a thorn since day one. She once won Resident of the Month for planting roses by the main gate. And from then on, she acted like she ran the entire neighborhood. Her son, Dylan, a spoiled teenager, was just as bad, always speeding on his dirt bike, yelling at people, daring anyone to get in his way. The trouble really started with my power bike, a custom-built machine, polished chrome, the kind of thing you take out on weekends to remind yourself life's worth living. Dylan spotted it in my shed one evening and decided it was his. Just like that, he swaggered up, smirk on his face. "Name your price," he said. "It's not for sale." I told him, "Everything's for sale." He shot back. I laughed him off. But 2 hours later, Karen was pounding on my door. She insisted I should reconsider and sell the bike to Dylan for the good of the community. When I refused, she snapped. "You newcomers have no sense of community spirit." That was the first sign things were about to get ugly. Not long after, I got a call from the state attorney's office. They needed evidence about HOA funds disappearing into Karen's husband's construction company. I agreed to help. From that moment on, Karen started watching me like a hawk, whispering to neighbors, pretending to water her flowers while staring straight at my cabin. I thought I could ignore it. I was wrong. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. The day it all blew up, I was on the phone with the Attorney General's team, my table covered in files, notes, bank statements. Dylan came marching over again, demanding my bike. When I told him to leave, he yelled that his mom would handle this. 10 minutes later, the sirens arrived. The officer stepped out of the cruiser, hand on his belt, eyes flicking between me, Karen, and Dylan like he wasn't sure who the criminal was. Karen launched into her performance immediately. "That man threatened my son. He's hiding something in there. He's dangerous." My heart pounded. I hadn't even stepped outside yet. Then Dylan, ignoring everyone, ran straight for my power bike. He gripped the handlebars like he owned them, smirk plastered across his face. And before I could say a word, he twisted the throttle. The engine roared to life. The bike lurched forward, the back tire spitting dirt, and the crowd that had gathered gasped. Some even started filming. "Kid, let go before you hurt yourself," I yelled, trying to stay calm, but he yanked harder. The bike shot forward straight into Karen's prize-winning rose bushes. Red petals flew like confetti. Karen let out a wail that could have shattered glass. My roses. My award-winning roses. The officer barely stopped the bike from crashing into her porch. Dylan tumbled into the dirt, sneakers covered in mud. And somehow Karen still pointed at me. "You see, officer, this man provoked my son." Even the cop looked confused. "Ma'am, your son just tried to steal his bike," he said flatly. But Karen wasn't done. She demanded the officer search my cabin. She spun the story so fast, some neighbors actually started nodding. And I'll admit it, this was the moment I broke inside. Standing there, accused of being a danger. My bike wrecked. My neighbors whispering, I thought, maybe I really am in over my head. Maybe I should just sell the cabin and walk away. That thought stayed with me until a black SUV rolled up. Out stepped 3 suits: Daniel Brooks, Alice Chen, and Marco Alvarez from the state attorney's public integrity unit. They ignored Karen's theatrics and walked straight to me. "Mr. Matthews, we're here about the files." Karen tried to butt in, shrieking about me hiding evidence, but Chen cut her off cold. "Ma'am, please step back to your property." For once, Karen had no comeback. Dylan muttered, "This isn't over," into his phone camera. But I finally felt a spark of hope again. Act 3. The climax and justice. hope didn't last long. That night, my power went out, just me, not the neighbors. My shed door creaked open, and when I aimed my flashlight, there they were, Dylan and another kid, trying to roll my bike away. "Stop," I said. "Let go of the bike." Dylan's face looked scared this time, not smug. He whispered, "I have to." But before I could ask what he meant, headlights swung around the corner. A dark sedan rolled up, door opening like it was waiting to swallow them whole. And then sirens again. Deputies pulled in behind me, lights exploding red and blue. Dylan dropped the handlebars, threw his hands up. His buddy bolted into the trees. Chaos followed shouts, radios, deputies chasing, and then the sedan roared forward. Headlights blinding, engine screaming straight toward us. I dove sideways as the car clipped my bike. Metal crunching like bones snapping, sparks shooting across the asphalt. Deputies dragged Dylan to the ditch just in time. The car fishtailed and tore off into the dark. Karen came running, shrieking, "My baby! What did you do to my baby?" While Dylan sat in the dirt shaking, whispering, "I'm fine." The deputies called it a hit and run. I called it what it was, attempted murder. The next night, Karen held a community safety meeting at the clubhouse. Flyers everywhere: protect our homes, protect our children. Translation: blame Jake Matthews. I went, standing at the back with my neighbor Mike. Karen strutted up front in a red blazer, microphone in hand. "Our community is under attack," she thundered. "Strangers with badges, chaos in our streets. And one man who brought all this trouble here." She didn't have to say my name. Every head turned toward me. I stepped forward. My voice was steady, but inside I was shaking. "Last night, a car tried to run us over. Deputies saw it. The sheriff saw it. The state attorney has the evidence. And instead of helping, you blame me?" Gasps rippled through the room. Karen's smile thinned. "So you admit criminals are after you. Danger follows you here." "I admit people stealing community money don't like the light shining on their books." I shot back. And then the door opened. Brooks, Chen, and Alvarez walked in, carrying briefcases. They laid out files, bank records, invoices, checks showing HOA money routed straight into Karen's husband's company. Neighbors gasped. Someone whispered, "I knew something was off." Karen laughed, brittle and high-pitched. "This is nonsense." "Forged. Direct from the banks," Chen said coolly. "Subpoenaed this morning." And then Dylan stood up. His voice cracked, but he said it loud enough for everyone to hear. "Mom, is it true? Did you know the driver?" The room went silent. Karen hissed, "Sit down, Dylan." But he didn't. He pointed at her, trembling. Tell them you told him to scare Jake, that nobody would get hurt." The clubhouse erupted, neighbors shouting, deputies stepping forward, Karen screaming over the noise. Brooks raised his hand. "Ma'am," he said, voice sharp as steel, "you may want to stop talking until you have legal counsel present." For the first time since I moved there, Karen Westfall had no words. She just stood there, pale and silent, as her empire of roses and HOA power collapsed in front of her. Closing line. Bullies can twist rules and bend neighbors, but in the end, the truth doesn't need to shout. It only needs to be seen.